Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Possibly one of my favorite animes from when I was younger. I remember playing the card game like mad. I absolutely loved it. I used to get packs almost all the time. Even the starter decks were even great fun to have, having Joey's, Kaiba's, Yugi's, and even Pegasus's deck. But what started my absolute enjoyment of Yu-Gi-Oh! Was of course Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. I've had so many fond memories watching it that I thought I might as well give my top 5 favorite arcs from the show. Now, before I get this list started, I do want to say this is purely my opinion. This isn't based on your favorites or anyone else's favorites. These are my own personal rankings of these arcs. And I definitely need to say that because I think a couple of these people will definitely not agree with being on the list. But with that said, let's get started. Number 5. Capsule Monsters. So this is one that I think not many people would agree with me on it, but I actually think Capsule Monsters is a pretty interesting idea, not just on the final product, but actually how it came about. Because 4Kids actually asked the animation studio to do this in Japan, so it wasn't actually Japanese. The studio didn't originally go, "Oh, let's make Capsule Monsters." 4Kids themselves asked for this, and what was even more interesting to me was that 4Kids is an American company, so I would have thought it would have viewed over there. But it actually viewed over here in Ireland first. The first 2 episodes were aired over here, which I actually thought was kind of interesting, just finding that out. But I think the whole idea of Capsule Monsters was kind of cool. You just touch these sort of stone tablets. I get that people didn't really like it because it was kind of a copy of Pokemon in a way, and I can definitely understand that. But I think what I kind of liked about it was the idea of like the puzzles, the trials, and that Yugi and the others had to do, and I just think it was kind of a cool idea in that sense. Number 4. Waking the Dragons. Waking the Dragons arc is just actually hilarious to watch now. Like originally as a kid, I did not like it. But when I rewatched it, I loved it even more. And I loved the duel between Valen and Joey. Best thing in the series. And I know even like Lil Karibo is doing the abridged version of this arc now, and I'm loving it. Like, I love Lil Karibo's work. He's amazing. And even the original like dubbing of this, like some of the lines that come out is hilarious. Like there's a scene where Yugi's walking up the steps like, "This is it, Kaiba. This is where we must face the ultimate evil behind all of this." And Kaiba's like, "Do you have to be so dramatic?" And just stuff like that. It feels like something that would be in an abridged already. But yeah, you have to admit sometimes 4Kids do it in a good way, and I actually think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually their best dub, and the story of this I actually think is a little bit out there, and I know it's not canon, same with Capsule Monsters, but the idea that like only Egypt were the only ones that had these like mystical items and stuff, like Atlantis is on the other side of the world, and I think it's interesting the idea that another civilization have their own sort of unique special powers. Also, I didn't mind the motorcycle gang that much. I actually didn't mind them at all, really. Raphael I thought was the best, of course, and Darts, his duel with Seto and Yugi was pretty entertaining, I thought. Number 3. Dawn of the Duel. Dawn of the Duel is a very interesting arc, and it was an arc that I originally did not like because back then Sky One had the rights to air Yu-Gi-Oh! for the UK and that was only on the weekends, and I would have to get up extremely early on Saturday mornings to watch it. And in Ireland we have the Den on RTE at the time, and they weren't up to date with Yu-Gi-Oh then, so I was completely relying on Sky One, and Sky One was way behind, or not way behind, but I mean you'd have to wait a week, and it was just so infuriating. And sometimes there wouldn't be that much that interested me as a kid that was going on. I was more interested in the actual duels themselves. But rewatching it, because I have season 5 on DVD, and I absolutely love watching it, and it's very interesting. The whole thing with Zork, the final reveal of like Bakura and that, the Pharaoh and his past, even the final duel between the Pharaoh and Yugi is very interesting to see, like how they both kind of use cards that we've seen in the past, and some of them use new ones that we haven't seen yet. Also, you kind of find out that the Pharaoh has kind of been cheating throughout the whole series, which is kind of like Heart of the Cards isn't real. As long as you get to cheat, it's okay. Like I just find that kind of funny, just realizing it, rewatching it. Maybe he hasn't been doing it the whole time, but in the final duel, it definitely felt like they were pointing out that's what had been going on the whole time. Number 2, the Battle City arc and the Enter the Shadow Realm arc. The funny thing is about this one is I don't have season 2, so that means I do not have Battle City on DVD, which is the only season I don't have, which is kind of funny because Battle City was my absolute favorite as a kid, and I have to include Enter the Shadow Realm in this because really it closes off Battle City. And if I just picked Battle City on its own, you just have this sort of cliffhanger ending. That was like the gap was filled up by the Noah saga, another filler arc. But the whole thing with Battle City and entering the Shadow Realm. I'll first talk about Battle City, why I like that arc, and that's because I kind of liked the different rare hunters Yugi was going against. Arcada was actually my favorite, the guy who had the Dark Magician, and there was the whole thing with the chainsaws, which is crazy, to be honest with you. I know the 4Kids dubbed it so it was like, this disc will send your mind to the Shadow Realm. And as a kid I was wondering, how is your mind like, where your legs are, because it was going to be like cutting your ankles off, not like at your head or anything like that, which I thought was really weird, to be honest. But again, it was still entertaining and still very fun to watch. Pretty much every locator card Yugi got, I believe, was actually from him doing rare hunters, whereas Joey was just going against Mako Tsunami, Weevil, and Esperoba, which were again fun duels to see. You get to see Joey get his Jinzo. You get to see him go against Weevil, who basically cheated, and Mako Tsunami was, he was Mako Tsunami like from the first season. And there was also the duel between Joey and Yugi, which is definitely fun to watch. I also like the tag duel with Kaiba and Yugi against the rare hunters. Yeah, I generally like the whole Battle City, especially when you can tell a lot nicer animation compared to the first season, Duelist Kingdom. Now Enter the Shadow Realm was where it definitely got a lot darker. Like at the end of Battle City you had the final, or the semi-finals, or no, sorry, it was the start of the finals. So it had the 8 contestants, and then you had 4 of them eliminated from 4 duels, and then it goes on to Enter the Shadow Realm, and there is the whole 4-way duel to determine who goes against who. There was also the duel between Mark and Joey, Kaiba and Yugi. There was even a duel between Kaiba and Joey, which is pretty fun to watch. Um, yeah, I like the whole idea of all the characters in like the four-way duel that they had, and Enter the Shadow Realm was a good season, or sorry, was a good arc, but Battle City, I felt as if it was more entertaining, maybe because there was more episodes, but I had to put these two together. If it wasn't for that, I would have probably put Battle City at number one, but these two definitely fit well together. And finally, number one, Duelist Kingdom. I think everybody kind of saw Duelist Kingdom coming as number one, and to be honest, this is where like the rules were like broken and stuff. But my impression of that is that Yu-Gi-Oh started out as a manga, and I'm pretty sure the creator didn't really intend to it to actually be like a proper card game. I think they kind of just wanted it to be like their own series in a way, and just kind of coming up with like these sort of interesting ideas, like the field gives like a weird like 30% add on to your attack power. There are weird like attack powers for some of the characters and monsters, like there's like 25-20 attack power and stuff like that. Like I remember the duel against like Yugi and Panic, where like the swords were revealing light sort of like blocked off the monsters from escaping because he broke the ring against the castle, and the castle like collapses on them. That sort of idea is, yeah, it's it doesn't actually work with the actual rules of the game, and there's just so much of that goes on in this season that makes it a lot more entertaining. Like I remember the Paradox Brothers, like that whole thing with like going through the maze, and they had like the Gate Guardian, like this sarcophagus kind of thing. There was also the thing with like Time Wizard. They didn't actually use polymerization with him and Baby Dragon. They just went like the time magic idea, and then like Joey had like, I have thousand eyes or thousand dragon, and you was like, I have the dark mage, because my dark magician aged so much, it knew so much more magic. And I'm just like, I don't think it works like that, Yugi. And yeah, there was even the whole thing with like not Kaiba, Pegasus against Yugi, and there's like the giant Shadow Realm bubble, the thousands of Karibos that like exploded on the Relinquish's eyes. There was even the duel between Yugi and Kaiba on top of Pegasus's castle, where like he fused his mammoth graveyard with a enchanted arrow, like a spell card, and like pierced through the ultimate blue eyes white dragon. Stuff like that. It's very out there, and you cannot do that in the actual game. But that's what makes it a lot more fun and interesting to see, because they're just basically making up their own rules on everything. So those are my top 5 favorite arcs from Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the like button if you did. Tell me down below what your favorite arc is, or favorite arcs, in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. Hopefully you will hit that subscribe button, and stay up to date with more videos that I will have in the future by hitting that bell icon. And I don't know when my next video will be, but I'll try to get videos up as much as I possibly can. There's just things going on that I just didn't expect. I thought I had something going on at one stage, and then suddenly I'm told, yeah, that's not going to happen. So there's a fallback there. There was another thing I had planned, but then again, unfortunately, that was cancelled as well, and was completely out of my hands, which is very unfortunate. So yeah, I might be very busy during this next week. I don't know if I'll have a video next week, or if it will be like a month, who knows. but I really appreciate everyone who watches my videos, and I really appreciate you guys for, you know, subscribing to the channel, staying up to date with videos, and I want to thank you guys so much. And hopefully I will get a new video out to you guys soon. I may get another video out by tomorrow or soon after this video if I have time after filming this one. So again, I want to thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.